To kick off the year, I thought I'd recommend a few design books I read recently which have been helpful to me, and I thought maybe that they could be helpful for you too. Okay, hi. First things first, I'm gonna open this. I had this really cool company based out of Singapore send me a lap desk. You'll see. Ooh. So this is it. Awesome. So I can work on the floor now. This is so cool. I'm sitting on, I got this at like our local grocery store. It's like a meditation pillow. Let me get what I'm going to talk about today. Much better. Hello and Happy New Year. 2021 has finally come and I think that's a great thing. To kick off the year, I thought I'd recommend a few design books I read recently which have been helpful to me, and I thought maybe that they could be helpful for you too. The first is Designing for Emotion by a friend of mine, Erin Walter. This book originally came out in 2011 but was just edited and republished last year. With the theme of the book, Designing for Emotion, and last year being very emotionally challenging, I don't think there could have been better timing for this second edition to be released. In 2011, Designing for Emotion meant designing for delight. I'm not sure if any of you were designers back then, but it was back in 2012 that I discovered UX design, and I remember this being a hot topic. In this new edition of the book, Erin describes the optimism he and many other designers felt during this time, with the latest technologies, including modern mobile devices and the rise of social media platforms. These advancements created connection and community all over the world in a way we had never seen before. Now fast forward to the present moment, a decade later we can see how these technologies may be doing more harm than good, and design does play a role in this problem. Add on top of that a global pandemic and social unrest. In Erin's words, it's time we acknowledge that designing for delight falls woefully short in feeding the needs of the human spirit. In this second edition of the book, you'll get a fresh perspective on what it takes to design for human experiences, which includes the whole gamut of human emotions, from good to bad and everything in between. You'll learn about remapping Maslow's hierarchy of needs through the lens of the needs of the people you are designing for, the power of personality, empathy and inclusion, mapping trust, and how to bring emotional design into your process. Also included are real examples of how some of the most admired products approach designing for emotion with a modern lens, like MailChimp, Headspace, Spanx, and Airbnb. The next book I recommend is Org Design for Design Orgs by Peter Merholz and Kristen Skinner. It's a book that's sort of known to be the book to read for anyone who's interested in getting into design operations, which, if you watch my latest channel announcement, you will have learned I transitioned into a design ops role at the beginning of last year. Design ops is a little bit more meta. The practice is known for its focus on designing the design practice and building a systematic framework that allows design to succeed at scale. In the book, Org Design for Design Orgs provides these guidelines for anyone who's interested in creating and leading design teams. That said, I also think anyone who is new to design could benefit from reading this book. Learning about organizational structure, design team roles, hiring, and career growth from the perspective of a potential manager will be beneficial for you when you are interviewing for new roles. I specifically enjoyed 2 chapters towards the end of the book, the first on recruiting and hiring, since I've been working on a large-scale project at work to improve our overall hiring best practices, and the other about developing your team through professional growth opportunities. I have been fascinated by career leveling systems for a while now, and especially for what that looks like within a design organization. What the book suggests is that a leveling system without transparency and understanding is to see team members as resources and not people. An important distinction. It's critical that these career frameworks are clear and defined for the members of the team so they can use it as a tool to navigate growing in their career. Good design leadership knows that investing in your team through these professional development tools and creating learning opportunities pays significantly in a competitive job market for reputation, retention, and recruiting. Although it's best practice, teams with these frameworks in place are few and far between. If you find a team that has this sort of transparent system in place, I'd say that's a good long-term bet for your career. And the final book that I recommend reading is the second edition of Crucial Conversations by Carrie Patterson, Joseph Grenny, Al Switzer, and Ron McMillan. This book is New York Times and Washington Post bestseller and has changed the way millions communicate, which is no surprise to me. It's truly made a positive impact on how I navigate these sort of crucial conversations in both work and life. But first, What is a crucial conversation? Well, it's defined as a conversation between two or more people where the stakes are high, opinions vary, and emotions run strong. Give yourself a moment to think about the last time you had one of these conversations. Who were you with? How did it go? What did it feel like? They say when facing one of these crucial conversations, you really only have 3 options. You can avoid the conversation, face them and handle them poorly, or face them and handle them well. Considering the first 2 options will leave you suffering the consequences, option 3 is the way to go. Seems easy enough, but I can say from personal experience that it takes way longer than you think to master this practice, and I'm still trying to get better at it every day. I think this book is a must read if you're trying to become a leader in your career. You will learn some essential communication skills and understand how to become a more strategic influence with your colleagues. Just like Designing for Emotion, I think Crucial Conversations is an important book of our time in helping us navigate the challenges of understanding our emotions, the emotions of others, and how to move forward gracefully. If you're interested in reading one of these books, I will have a link to where you can buy them online in the description below. I also have a more comprehensive list of design and career related books I recommend on my Amazon storefront, which you can also access in the description below. Have you read one of these books before? What did you think? Are you planning to read one of them now? I'd love to hear what you think in the comment section below. That's all for now, my friends. Happy reading, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.